Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt, ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Why do I believe the Bears will screw this up? Why? You know, last week, I was going to do a mock draft. Had it all planned out. A great draft that would address every need they had. First round at 20, Tevin Jenkins, an offensive tackle. Second round, Kellen Mond, quarterback. They trade up in the second round and take Nico Collins, the wide receiver from Michigan. And then in the third round, Deontay Brown, the gun from Alabama. It would have addressed every need. Would have been perfect. Then we saw the rumor mill stir things up over the weekend. The Bears are in talks to move up. They want Justin Fields. Justin Fields is their guy. So I've revised the mock draft. I'll tell you what I have, but I want to say this first. Drafting Justin Fields is a big mistake. And I'm not talking about his medical problems. I'm talking about history. Track record. Think about this for a second. Ryan Pace is drafting another quarterback. That should already be a red flag. 2, Ohio State has never produced a good quarterback. Dwayne Haskins, Troy Smith, J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, Terrell Pryor, who turned into a wide receiver, Braxton Miller the same. Do you really want to do that again? Everybody said Dwayne Haskins is different. 50 touchdowns, 8 picks, great player. Didn't work. Everybody said Justin Fields is different. Look, Ohio State cannot develop quarterbacks, just like Alabama. Now, if it came down to Mac Jones or Justin Fields, I'd take Fields. At least Fields is mobile. Mac Jones is a pocket passer, and Alabama's 10 times worse when it comes to development. That's just a fact. But I do not believe in this strategy. Yes, I get it. 22 touchdowns, 6 picks. Doing great things for Ohio State, I know. But I am of the thought that the Bears don't need a quarterback. I mean, they do, but they don't now. They've invested money in Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. Let it be. There doesn't need to be another quarterback in the mix. And I'm just utterly shocked that no one seems to have learned the lessons of Ohio State quarterbacks. Anyone remember this? Troy Smith? Troy Smith, at one point, competed with Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith for the starting job in San Francisco. That's how bad it was. And he didn't win. He was done. J.T. Barrett, great college player, not even worth anything in the NFL. Cardale Jones. Braxton Miller, Terrell Pryor, Dwayne Haskins. Why would you do that? Why would you take an Ohio State quarterback? And on top of it, to boot, they're going to trade up and do it. They shouldn't. I really advise against it, but I think they will. So, I gave you the warning. I gave you the preface. Warning label is right out there, but the Bears will do what they want. Here is my mock draft, revised because of all this news and all these rumors about trading. The Bears will trade up and take Justin Fields at 8. But in order to do that, they will give up number 20, they'll give up a second-round pick, and next year's first-round pick. Then in the third round, they will take Deontay Brown. So I'm anticipating only 2 picks for the Bears in the first 3 rounds of this draft. Before all this news, I was expecting 4 and 3. I thought they would trade up into the second round once more and take Nico Collins, a wide receiver. But if we're going to weigh out needs for this team, the offensive line desperately needs help. At least you have Allen Robinson and you have Darnell Mooney. That's good enough for now. I'm not saying they're superstars. I'm not saying the wide receiving core is okay. But at the end of the day, if you have no protection for your quarterback, how is he going to throw to anyone? The protection was just horrible last year. Very bad. Now you brought in a new quarterback. You might draft another. You need an offensive line. So I do believe they will take a lineman. In this case, Deontay Brown out of Alabama. Lots of good things for him. At 6'3", 350 pounds, Brown's extra wide frame will fit in perfectly in Nagy's wide zone running scheme. He'll slot in at right guard between Sam Mustipher and Rashad Coward. Great. I'm all for that. I really am. That's going to be an A-plus pick for the Bears. No question. But to trade up for an Ohio State quarterback, that's a problem. That's a red flag. Shouldn't be doing that. Fields did all right last year, too many picks. Regressed slightly despite playing in less games. Why does anyone think he'll be a star in the NFL? I just don't see it. And you could say, oh, it's lazy to think about past quarterbacks and put it all on Fields, say Ohio State's a bad quarterback school. I'm going to say it because it's true. I have no problem pointing out that Troy Smith, Cardale Jones, J.T. Barrett, Braxton Miller, Terrell Pryor, and Dwayne Haskins didn't pan out in the NFL. That is fair to say. And now what? The Bears are going to move up, give away more draft capital to take Justin Fields. Oh, and by the way, that's Ryan Pace's guy. So, good luck. To me, that is just the worst possible scenario for this team. You've already invested money in the quarterback position. We said that last week. You're paying Andy Dalton. You're paying Nick Foles. You don't need another quarterback added to the mix. On top of it, your offensive line is decaying, and you have, realistically, 2 wide receivers. In what universe is it beneficial to move up, trade more draft capital, and take a quarterback from Ohio State? That's what I thought. When you think about it like that, it doesn't sound too good. Everyone's infatuated because they want the next big thing. Ooh, Justin Fields, cool. You really think he's going to work? I'm serious. You really think that he'll break the mold? He'll break the mold of Ohio State quarterbacks who've been busts in the NFL. No, he won't. I don't like this one bit. Ryan Pace, can't draft. Going to move up, give up more, invest more in the quarterback position. For what? And see, I've seen people say, John, you're crazy. It's a quarterback you have to invest. But he already has. He's already put money into it. Andy Dalton, Nick Foles. Isn't this a bit overboard? Let's think about this for a second. Paying Mike Lennon, trading up for Mitch Trubisky, paying Nick Foles, paying Andy Dalton. Now trading up again to get Justin Fields? That's a lot of capital. You've invested in one position that still hasn't panned out. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is slowly but surely decaying. And nothing's been done to address or fix it. To me, that's scary. And I really advise against the Bears taking Justin Fields. If they do, they'll give up pick number 20, a second-round pick, next year's first pick. That's my prediction. And then Deontay Brown in round 3. That's it. So that's how that sounds. Compare that to the mock draft I was going to talk about last week. Okay? Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle. Kellen Mond, quarterback. Nico Collins, wide receiver, Michigan. And Deontay Brown, guard, Alabama. Which draft sounds better? Which one addresses more needs? Which one tells everybody we're not going to give up more and more capital? To me, the answer is quite simple. Very simple. But the Bears are going to do what they want. They're in a tough position. I've said it all year. I do feel a little bit for Ryan Pace. Everything he seemed to do hasn't worked. I know he's under a time crunch. He needs to make a splash. But he's doing that at the expense of the future. What will the Bears look like in 2 or 3 years? They're going to be tapped out. I can already see it, a cap nightmare. No draft picks. Ryan Pace will be fired. Matt Nagy. They will literally be in the worst possible position as an NFL team. It's easily avoidable, but it won't happen. So to all of you who are considering Justin Fields, who want him, who think he's great, I'm here to tell you, hold back that praise a bit. Keep it in check. Because you're not realizing the cost, and you're not realizing the track record and the pedigree that comes with Ohio State quarterbacks. Some people just think, oh, Dwayne Haskins, who else? It's been a pattern for decades. Decades. They just can't get the quarterback position right in the NFL. They do great in college, but come to the pros? No, they don't. They can't perform. Everyone wants a cool new thing. But I'm here to tell you, it isn't worth it. The Bears need to spread the wealth on their team. They can't be putting in more and more to one position and let everything else burn down. It's happening, though. And unfortunately for this team, there's nothing we can do about it. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with David Schuster comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are going strong. The Bulls are losing, but they're still playing. And the Blackhawks continue their fight for a playoff spot. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.